There are a lot of podcasts out there, but only one with this kind of energy.
Welcome to EVP Show Recaps, Predictions, Sports. Let go, Show Recaps, Predictions, Sports.
In one podcast.
Welcome to EVP Show Recaps, Predictions, Sports. Let go.
What's up, everybody? It's the EVP from the EVP Show, and I'm live for your Raw Recap Show. Where was it? 40 days until WrestleMania. I mean, Raw wasn't terrible. I'm not gonna say like all of it was bad. I do feel like, I don't know. I think they're going like I think it was a tale of two halves. Finally, obviously we'll talk about it later on, but the Judgment Day stuff, I think that was, long overdue, which, everybody had a pretty good inkling of that direction. I don't know if we're seeing a face spin out of this, because, I mean, possibly, but I still think we could see, like, that demon come out. The demon's going to get cheered. That's what everybody wants. So, the Judgment Day stuff, and then obviously the last part, there's still a lot of parts of Raw that are just kind of wavy for me. I don't know what they're doing with the Intercontinental title now. Tonight they kind of, me just really paying attention to the story. I know Becky's been tweeting and stuff, and unless she shows up and ends up costing Bayley next week, I don't know. It looks like they told a lot of stories in that following match. Raquel and Liv are eventually this isn't gonna be the end of stuff that goes down on the Judgment Day for sure. Raquel's probably going to end up costing Liv the title at WrestleMania. It's just so many different angles. It looks like they played tonight. They're still on the Maxine and Natty stuff. They're obviously, I guess they want to do something for that. The only thing I seen, somebody made a comment about it in a chat. I don't know what really they could do with them two, but maybe put them in a blood sport match or something. I don't know. Shout out to the person in the chat that said that, because I personally don't want to see it, but Raw there were just a lot of things that, like, you have Ivy now lose to Carmen Petra in a on main event, but then comes out and pins Io Sky. So I don't know. I don't know what they're doing with the Intercontinental title. It kind of looks like I don't know. It seems like they're teasing a Bayley Lyra. Hopefully that's not the direction they're going. I know Becky's still tweeting, so I'm still holding out hope that she's involved. If you pay attention to everything that the announcers say, obviously there was a report in the middle of Raw, like Paul Heyman's out indefinitely. We know what the out indefinitely means, but I think they're, like I said on Scoop yesterday, I think they're still holding out hope for Seth and Braun, but if he's not able to come back, I heard Corey Graves say, well, what is Brock Lesnar going to think about what Seth Rollins did to Paul Heyman? So, I feel like that's probably the backup plan if Braun can't make it, is to do Seth and Brock. I don't really particularly want to see that either, because what are they doing with Obafemi? He's super talented. One of the top 2 or 3 people that I was looking forward to coming up from NXT, and they're booking him like Goldberg, which I didn't really have anything against Goldberg, but everybody was saying, oh, it's Obafemi and Rusev at WrestleMania, and Oba beats him in like 2 minutes and like 40 seconds. Like, get out of here. I like the backstage stuff with Kofi Kingston and Javon. Um, Interesting to see where they go from there on that. I don't know how long Xavier Woods is going to be out, but is Javon and Kofi going to team up? I mean, something. Javon needs to be involved in something. Um, I know that next week they advertised Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, original El Grande Americano against the fake Grande Americano. Obviously, the original Grande Americano was cursed tonight. So even though they're going to run it next week, I still think that we still see them two at WrestleMania in a mask versus mask match. I don't think they're going to get away from that. But I am very concerned with this Intercontinental title. They're going to have AJ Lee win the title at Elimination Chamber and then just drop it on our first title defense right before WrestleMania. I don't think so. I'm going to stick with the plan of it's, AJ Becky or AJ Becky Roxanne. If Roxanne's available, I still think AJ Becky's still heavily on the table for that. I can't see Bayley winning it. I really pictured Bayley and Lyra being mixed up in the tag title picture, but I mean they teased a lot of stuff there. They teased, you could see Io Sky obviously at the beginning of the show when Kairi Sane and Asuka was walking in. She was like standing behind, so I mean they've been teasing an Asuka Io match for a while. Are they gonna do that? Are they gonna do Asuka and Kairi? And I don't know. It's really hard to tell. But still, like ultimately, like the Punk Roman stuff on Raw and the Judgment Day stuff is really all that you can really sink your teeth into. Next week should be a better show. Like I said, AJ Lee is going to defend against Bayley, which is a dream match for us fans and for both of them as well. Intercontinental Championship. I think they're going to be in San Antonio, Texas next week. Brock Lesnar's back, so we'll kind of see where we're going from here. See if he brings up Seth. If he does, then that's probably the direction they're going. I still think that WWE is holding out hope for Braun Breaker, but the closer we get to WrestleMania, the less likely it looks. But we don't really have to have him show up. I mean, we don't want him to show up the week before WrestleMania, but he don't have to show up like right now if he's, if they're still giving him a couple extra weeks to recover. Obviously, you saw what happened on Impulsive. If you watch like a Pulse podcast, they pulled him from that boxing match against Le'Veon Bell because they don't want to risk any more injuries. It's been a crazy day for sure. They're definitely gonna do the Usos versus Logan and Austin Theory. That 100% is the way they're going. I saw somebody mention something about Danhausen maybe winning the SmackDown tag titles with the Miz. I mean, God, they do that. That's just, I mean, I'm a fan of Danhausen, but I don't know. Like I said, for me, like it's a little confusion. I think they're trying to tell a lot of stories with the. Inside, we saw Liv ultimately cost Raquel again, and like I'm telling you, I think that's how it's going to play out at WrestleMania. Raquel is going to end up costing Liv. I mean, Liv is probably going to eventually get the title. Maybe not. Maybe Raquel ends up getting. I don't know. I do think Liv and Stephanie go all the way to Italy, though. But it's going to cause a lot more dissension between Liv and Raquel because obviously she blew it off tonight, but Liv come down there and interjected herself into the gauntlet match tonight. So WWE's kind of still all over the place. Tonight was Alexander's first night of writing Raw. I did like the Jimmy Uso stuff. He was really good on the mic tonight. It was even with Roman not there, the build continues to be strong. So I definitely like that. I appreciate that um, you know, they're really going all out with this build, and I mean ultimately, you know, as I've been saying, even on Scoops and every other show, like it's gonna bring the bloodline together. Obviously, because Punk's not gonna apologize. Um, but this all just gonna culminate with The Rock. Um, he's gonna show up at WrestleMania, either at WrestleMania or after Roman wins the title, and that's how you get Roman Rock set up. So I do think the Usos and Roman, like that part of the bloodline. I don't know about Solo. I seen somebody said Solo and all that. I don't know if it's gonna get that deep, but I do think that Jimmy and Jay will reunite with Roman. And then we'll probably see the final boss come out. Um, yeah, Punk's promo was very heelish tonight, and he brought up Cody Rhodes, Dusty Rhodes tonight. So I don't know. It's interesting to see where they're going with that. They got a big show coming up. I believe it's at MSG or something like that soon. So we'll see what kind of sit there and I'll let Punk and Roman get physical before WrestleMania. Well, before we get started on recapping the show, welcome everyone that's watching live on my YouTube, my X, on Miami's X. The X page is back working again. Make sure tomorrow you guys tune in to Inside the Mind, NFL show Miami does on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. Eastern. And then tune in to my NXT recap at 10:30 p.m. Eastern. As we're getting closer to Stand and Deliver. A lot of stuff went on today in the NFL, so this will be a big show tomorrow for Miami at 6 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you check that out. A couple other announcements I made last night. Obviously, if you wasn't here, LFG Season 3 will start April 26th. It will be on Sunday. Will I be canceling Sunday Scoop? No, I will not. It's just going to be a 2-show day on Sundays until LFG is over, which seasons usually not very long anyway, maybe 8, 9, 10 episodes, something like that. The only week I will not be doing Sunday Scoops will be WrestleMania Sunday. So that weekend, I already have. I probably won't even. Well, LFG doesn't start till afterwards. So the only show that I'll be doing on that Sunday will be the Night 2, WrestleMania Night 2 recap. I will not be doing Sunday Scoops that Sunday. It's gonna coincide with the start of WrestleMania, and I'm not gonna miss WrestleMania, and there's not gonna be anybody in here. It's WrestleMania, so WrestleMania Sunday I won't be doing Sunday Scoop, but that will be the only week that I, plan on skipping Sunday Scoops. But a couple other small announcements before we get started. Had a lot of questions in DMs about Stand and Deliver WrestleMania, what kind of format I'm going to be doing, say it on every show. It will be a Stand and Deliver 2 weeks before WrestleMania this year. So I'll be putting out a tweet Wednesday for the NXT Stand and Deliver prediction show. If you are watching or if you are wanting to come on that show, make sure you comment under that post. I'll try to keep it. There's a lot. I tweet a lot, so I'll try to keep it as close to the top as I can. Try to get some people to help me keep track of that. But there will be a Stand and Deliver prediction show as well as a Stand and Deliver recap show. And then I got another question again today about how I was going to be doing WrestleMania. I will be recapping Night 1 and Night 2 of WrestleMania. But I will not be doing 2 separate prediction shows. It's going to be one big prediction show. And yeah, it's gonna be a long stream. So also look out for that tweet. I will tell you guys if you are coming on that show, it's gonna be but Stand and Deliver and WrestleMania is probably gonna be on Wednesday. Because Miami does Inside the Mind on Thursdays, Tuesdays as well, and Wednesday's really just the best day. It's one of my off days, and I don't want to do a prediction show on top of Miami's NFL show. So, but I will tell you guys, if you do plan on coming on a prediction show, like, think heavily about it, because we're going to be covering 12 to 14 matches. The panel should be, I'm hoping 6 or more, at least 6, if not 10. So it's going to be a 2-hour stream. So if you guys are planning on coming on there, I will have separate posts that I'll make Wednesday for Stand and Deliver, and also for WrestleMania. If you want to come on, if you're prepared to be on a 2+ hour stream for prediction show, make sure you just comment or DM, and I will make a list. Not Jericho's list, but I'll make a list of everybody for Stand and Deliver and for WrestleMania. Hope for a big turnout. It's shared everywhere. Obviously, it's the regulars are going to have first priority for WrestleMania for sure. But anybody new that hasn't been on, obviously, if I have room, I'll put you on the list. If somebody doesn't show up or they can't make it, then you'll be in there. Stand and Deliver is pretty wide open. If you want to come on Stand and Deliver, obviously, just let me know. Either DM me, or like I said, preferably I would like people to comment on the tweet. That way, when I repost it, I'll make a list as I go, so that I'll know who's in and who's out. But it will be the week of Stand and Deliver. It will be a Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern. So that's the 3 announcements that I have. So we'll go ahead and get started. I know there's a space going on right now as well. Last week's Raw, I don't know. It's crazy because I checked the YouTube views, and I had like 160 views on YouTube. So it's crazy. I don't know how I got that many views last Monday, because I didn't have about 90 people in here or something like that watching live on the stream. So yeah, I don't know. My mind went kind of blank for a second there. But yeah, I also want to thank all of you guys for your support. I think I'm starting to run into like I think today is like 14 days in a row. After tomorrow's show, I'll have a day off. So definitely looking forward to Wednesday. I have a lot of things personally I need to take care of. Gonna go to the gym. I don't know. Gonna do some self-care on Wednesday for sure, and then I'll be back with you guys Thursday and Friday, and I'm off again Saturday. This week and next week is gonna be not too busy. 5 streams, but Stand and Deliver week. I will not be recapping or doing a prediction show for TNA. I'll still recap the weekly shows, but I'm not going to be doing prediction shows for TNA. I'm not going to be recapping their PLEs. So that's just a little much right now. There's not enough days in the week, not enough time. So it's just going to be strictly WWE and NXT for right now. So I can go forward. But I do thank you guys for... most importantly, getting me over 200 subscribers. I've hit my goal before WrestleMania, which I hit it way early, almost 50 days early. I think I'm at 204, maybe 205 subscribers. So definitely thank you guys for that. I'm going to get with Miami sometime before WrestleMania. Do something for you guys for that. Small little giveaway. I have to get all you guys to put y'all on a randomizer or something. I don't know. On a wheel. I don't know. We'll see. I'll get with Miami and see what we can come up with. But thank you guys for subscribing. Make sure you hit that notification bell. And make sure you turn all of the notifications on. That way you know when I'm going live and you don't miss an episode. So let's go ahead and get started, guys. Tonight's Wwe Raw is coming to you live from the Climate Pledge Arena in Seattle, Washington. We're going to see the Intercontinental Champion, Penta, the newly crowned Intercontinental Champion, which he won last week, defend his title against El Grande Americano, or so we thought. Obviously, he got cursed by Danhausen, so it was the imposter, Grande Americano, which is great. I don't know what they do for Penta at WrestleMania. I really don't. I'm looking around the roster and I'm like, unless they do a Penta Javon Evans, I don't really know. I mean, he's definitely not getting thrown in this Dom Ben stuff. So I don't know. I don't know what the plan is for Penta for WrestleMania. I don't know what the plan is for LA Knight for WrestleMania. It's not Brock. For Brock, it's over Femi or Seth Rollins. There's no, Dave Meltzer can say what the hell he wants, but it's not LA Knight. So tonight's show is from Climate Pledge Arena in Seattle, Washington. We're gonna also see the Ruler over Femi, which I don't like what the direction they're going with him. He's too dominant. They need to put him in a big match at WrestleMania. He's going to face the Bulgarian Brute Rusev, who WWE highly coveted to bring him back to the company. What have they done with him since he's been on the main roster? Nothing. He got squashed again tonight. I don't know. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff I liked about Raw, but there's a lot of stuff I did not like about Raw. Then we're going to get the WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship #1 contender gauntlet match, which I predicted Io Sky to win. I thought that made the most sense with her splitting her up from Rhea. Now I don't know what the hell Io is going to do. If she's not facing Asuka, what is she going to do at WrestleMania? So there's a lot of, even though they told some stories, like there's a lot of people that, I don't know. I don't know what direction they're going to go with them now for WrestleMania from how they book, from how the new lady that came in, they got promoted from creative. How, she booked Raw tonight, so I don't know. It's gonna be Bayley, Lyra Valkyria versus Judgment Day, Big Mommy Cool, Raquel Rodriguez versus Empress Tamara Asuka. Which at the end I thought Asuka may win, face versus heel, but it didn't go that way. That's why it has me a little concerned. Bayley may win the belt next week, but I think Becky Lynch shows up. Versus Virginia Till Sky, Io Sky versus American Made Abby Now. So the show opens up with a shot of the WrestleMania host venue Allegiant Stadium as Michael Cole welcomes us in. And we see the backstage arrival of WWE Intercontinental Champion Penta, Asuka, and Kairi Sane. But like I said earlier, Io Sky was in the background peeping them. So it's got to be something with them three. At WrestleMania, I feel like I would preferably like to see Asuka and Io. And then have Kairi, like, Asuka try to boss her around, tell her to help her win or cheat or whatever. And Kairi actually, absolutely just has enough and ends up turning on Asuka and goes back with Io. I mean, that's really the only thing I could possibly see. If they don't do that, what are they going to do with Io? So, they can't put her in the tag title stuff. The Bellas didn't show up again tonight, but they are coming. I think we see them next week in San Antonio. I think next week's going to be a huge show. So like I said, Io Sky was watching in the background. We can see Femi, Rusev, and WWE World Heavyweight Champion CM Punk, who was on the phone with someone. We get a video package recapping Seth Rollins' return and the attack on Paul Heyman. Obviously, he's out indefinitely. And the show kicks off with Raw General Manager Adam Pearce is now in the ring. He says he will normally welcome everyone to Raw, but he has some business to take care of. Adam says he needs to have a conversation with someone who has gotten involved over the last month, and he knows he is in the building. Adam then says he wants Seth freaking Rollins to come to the ring so they can talk face to face and eye to eye. So then a mystery masked man that makes his way out and gets on the announce desk. More mystery masked men that make their way out, and the crowd is going crazy. They then charge the ring and they start to scatter all around the ring. So just some further clarification on the Masked Man. If you guys haven't tuned into the Scoop Show, these are all guys from Seth Rollins' wrestling school in Delaware, Iowa. So they were circling around the ring like merry-go-round, they're saying Seth isn't medically cleared. I don't know if I buy that. I think it's more they're waiting to see if fucking Brian Breaker's going to come back. I think they're just playing the angle of that. We'll see. I don't know. All these masked men, I'm kind of burnt out on it, to be honest with you. But the crowd likes it, so that's all that matters. People are buying the tickets. I'm not. So, like I said, they scatter around the ring and they leave one masked man in the ring, and the mysterious masked man is Seth freaking Rollins. It was a lot of masked men. So Adam looks at Seth and he says he didn't need any of that, but they need to talk. Adam then says neither of them like the vision. Adam then says it is not his job to like or dislike people. It is his job to be general manager. Adam then says what you have done over the last month is unacceptable. Adam then says not because he doesn't think the vision deserves it, but because you had surgery less than 5 months ago. Adam then says the attacks have worked so far, but what happens when it doesn't? Adam then says there will come a time when you don't escape through the crowd of the mask. Adam then says what happens when they get their hands on you? Adam then says they can reach an agreement and it should stop right now. Adam then says the worst case scenario is that they get their hands on you, and that will be the end of Seth freaking Rollins. So then we hear the Maverick, Logan Paul's music hits. He makes his way down to the ring with Austin Theory. Only two people left of the division right now. Ron Breaker's out, Boston Reed, now Paul Heyman. They say it's going to be the end of Seth now. Logan then says they will take care of the minions. Austin Theory then says there is a bullet with your name on it, and the other masked men are not going to take it for you. Just 1 second, guys. I don't even know how to put on that over the water. So yeah, Austin Theory says that there's a bullet with Seth's name on it, and that the masked men are not going to take that bullet for Seth. So I love Austin Theory, the way he was talking there. They then get on the apron, and the masked men get into the ring, and they all leave the ring. They start doing all that circle and stuff again. And then we get the Megastar's music, LA Knight, yeah. He's still in the Vision Vortex after 6 months. What a fucking joke. LA Knight's music hits, he makes his way down to the ring. LA Knight then sends Logan Paul into the ringside barrier. LA then punches Austin Theory, and Logan stops him. And out comes, we hear Jey Uso's music. Out comes Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso. And he comes in, he hits Logan, and Austin Jimmy then joins Jay, and they go after Logan and Austin. Jimmy hits a super kick, followed by a double super kick and a clothesline to Austin. Austin then pulls Logan Paul to safety. Jay's music plays, and he does the run it back. And him and Jimmy and Jay stand tall. I mean, I guess they could do a 6-man if they really got to get LA in it, but I don't know who the third person would be for the Vision. So, I don't know. I mean, they got to get LA 9 on the card. I feel like it's super over, but we then take a look at what happened last week between Wwe and Rusev. Obviously, I'm not a big fan of what they did with that. We then see Jackie Redmond. She stops Jimmy and Jay in the back and asks about what is going on. Jay says it doesn't matter who it is, and they have receipts to give. Jackie then asks Jay about CM Punk and his comments about Roman Reigns. Jay says he has nothing to say to CM Punk. Jimmy then says maybe they have something to say, and they walk back toward the locker room. Very, very good segment at the end with the Usos and CM Punk. I will say that. So we're going to start the night off. Our first match of the night is it was supposed to be Owen and Rusev, but it got changed. That's Alexander already throwing the swerves out there. So it's a WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship #1 contender gauntlet match. Bayley versus Lyra Valkyria versus Raquel Rodriguez versus Asuka versus Io Sky versus Ivy Now. So the first two contestants in the match is going to be Lyra Valkyria and Io Sky. So the match starts off with both women locking up. Io applies a wrist lock. Lyra then escapes the hold and hits a snap air. Io then applies a wrist lock. Lyra then hits a monkey flip, but Io holds on to the wrist lock. Lyra then hits a backdrop and transitions to a wrist lock. Io then hits a head scissors and Lyra escapes. Lyra then applies a side headlock. Lyra then floats over and hits a spinning heel kick for a near fall. Lyra then gets Io up, but Io escapes. Io avoids Lyra and she trips Lyra and hits a drop kick. Io is then sent to the floor, but Lyra misses a drop kick through the ropes. And Io Sky, the genius of the sky, she hits a suicide dive through the ring, and then she throws Lyra back into the ring. She goes up top, but Lyra is quick to stop Io Sky before she gets to the top rope. Lyra then drops Io on the top rope, and Lyra hits a drop kick through the ropes. Lyra then sends Io back into the ring, and she gets a near fall. Io then tries for a reversal, and Io gets a roll up for a 2 count. Lyra then hits a backslide for another 2 count. Lyra then applies a wrist lock and transitions into a rear chin lock. And she hits some elbows to the clavicle, and Lyra gets another 2 count. A lot of pinfall attempts for the first two people to start out in the gauntlet. Io then hits some forearms. Lyra then countered with the forearm to the back. Io then countered back with the forearm, and Lyra hits a clothesline and gets a 2 count. Io then kicks Lyra away. Io then hits a boot to Lyra and follows it up with a flapjack. Io and Lyra then exchange forearms. Io then hits a show tie. And Lyra hits a series of kicks. Io then hits a butterfly backbreaker. Io then hits a running double knee strike. Io then goes to the turnbuckles, but Lyra pulls Io to the mat. Lyra then hits some punches and an Irish whip, but Io goes to the apron and she kicks Lyra from the apron. Io then goes up top, but Lyra gets to the turnbuckles. Lyra then hits an elbow to the back of the head. Io then goes for a sunset flip powerbomb, but Lyra lands on her feet. Lyra then hits an enziguri and a tornado DDT for another near fall 2 count. Lyra then waits for Io to get up, and she gets Io on her shoulders for the Nightwing. Io then gets a victory roll, and she transitions the victory roll into a double stomp. Io then hits a round kick. She goes to the turnbuckles for a moonsault. Her famous moonsault that she does off the top of the rope, and she hits it for the 1, 2, 3. And Lyra Valkyria has been eliminated from the gauntlet match. And surprisingly, I thought Raquel might be closer to the end, but Raquel Rodriguez makes her way down to the ring. So now we're going to get Io versus Raquel. These are my final two. These are two people that I thought had a really good chance to win it. Io then drop kicks Raquel to the floor, and she goes for a suicide dive, but Raquel catches Io. Io then gets to her feet. She hits some strikes. Raquel then hits a back elbow and a clothesline. Raquel then sends Io back into the ring. Raquel then goes to the turnbuckles for a twisted Vader bomb elbow drop for a near fall. Raquel then goes for the Tejana bomb, but Io gets to the apron and escapes. Io then drops Raquel on the top rope. Io then sets up for a springboard drop kick, but Raquel moves and Raquel pounces on Io. Raquel then follows Io to the floor, and she throws Io onto the announce desk. Raquel then sends Io back into the ring. She kicks Io and begins to taunt her. Raquel then hits an elbow drop and follows it up with a second one. Raquel then hits a third elbow drop and goes for the pin, but Io Sky kicks out at 2. Raquel then applies a half Nelson and a chin bar. Raquel sends Io into the turnbuckles and delivers some elbows. Raquel begins to choke Io Sky in the ropes. Raquel then kicks Io and she hits a slingshot jackhammer for a near fall. Raquel then goes to the turnbuckles for a powerbomb, but Io escapes and she hits a show tie. Io then sets up for a Hurricane Rana and hits it off the turnbuckles. Io goes up top and she hits a missile drop kick and she landed it. Io then flips around, does the ear gimmick that I love. I love Io. One of the best wrestlers on the planet. Io then hits a running double knee strike and she goes up top for the moonsault, but out comes the #1 contender for 75 quarters, Raw Women's Champion. Liv Morgan shows up to distract Io. Raquel then drops Io on the top rope but then out comes our WWE Raw Women's Champion Stephanie McCourt's music hits, and Liv goes straight after Stephanie McCourt. Stephanie takes it to Liv and ends up throwing her up against the little thing right there where the Raw sign is. So Stephanie got the best of Liv tonight. Meanwhile, back in the ring, Io is still on the turnbuckles and she goes for a tornado DDT, but Raquel blocks it. So Io gets the 3 count with an inside cradle for the 1, 2, 3, and Raquel Rodriguez has now been eliminated. That's 2 eliminations for Io Sky. But Raquel was not done. She was pissed off. Raquel then hits a boot to send Io to the floor. Raquel then picks up Io Sky, long dalts Io into the ring post, and then hits a Tejana bomb on the apron. She hits her finisher on the apron on Io Sky. Io is completely out of it. So it was easy pickings at this point. I don't agree with the person they had pin her, but I mean, she was kind of like a sitting duck. Raquel had just hit the Tejana bomb. Out comes Ivy now. Ivy now makes her way down to the ring. Ivy then rolls Io into the ring, and she gets the 1, 2, 3. So Ivy didn't really have to do much, but she did pin a big name star in this match. And Ivy looked pretty good in the match after she eliminated Io. So it's not me hating on Ivy. You're going to have Io lose. I would think she would go all the way to the end. She started the match. So Ivy beats Io Sky, so we're down to Ivy now, Bayley, or Asuka. So then Bayley makes her way down to the ring while Bayley checks on Io. Ivy attacks Bayley from behind and sends her into the ring steps. Ivy then hits a forearm to Bayley. Ivy then sends Bayley to the mat. Ivy then sends Bayley into the turnbuckles and she hits some forearms. Bailey then hits a boot to the midsection. Ivy then hits some forearms and an Irish whip. Ivy then hits a forearm and a hard Irish whip. Ivy then hits a clothesline for a near fall. Ivy delivers an elbow to the back and then hits a snapmare and transitions into a reverse chin lock. Ivy delivers an elbow drop. Bailey counters, hits some elbows, but Ivy ends up applying a gut wrench suplex. Shout out to the 100 people we have listening live. This is about where we were at last week, so thank you guys for tuning in. If you guys missed the beginning, I have made a couple of big announcements. So make sure you guys go back and watch the beginning of the stream, because I'm not gonna repeat all that at the end again. So Bailey then hits a snapmare, and Ivy runs into an elbow. Bailey then hits a neck breaker, hits a clothesline, and a belly to back suplex. Bailey then sends Ivy into the apron, and she delivers a cutter. Bailey then hits a running knee, and Bailey hits an elbow drop to the back. She gets a near fall. Ivy then blocks the Bailey suplex, and Bailey gets a roll up for just a 2 count. Ivy then hits a running thrust kick, followed by a German suplex for a count of 2. Bailey then hits some forearm to Ivy, and then catches Ivy when Ivy tries to float over, and Bailey delivers a elbow. Bailey then hits a German suplex in the ropes for a 2 count. Ivy then escapes the rose plant, and Ivy hits a thrust kick to Bailey. Ivy applies a European uppercut, and she sets up for a delayed vertical suplex, and Ivy gets another near fall. Then she hits some more forearms, but Ivy ends up running into the boot from Bailey. Bailey goes to the turnbuckle, and Ivy hits a running thrust kick. Ivy sets up for a superplex, and she nails it. Ivy then hits a Uranagi, and Bailey goes to the floor. Bailey then sends Ivy into the ring steps. Bailey then goes to the turnbuckles for the elbow drop, and Ivy gets her beat up. Ivy then kicks Bailey back to the floor. Bailey then hits a forearm to Ivy on the apron. Bailey then comes off the ring steps, and she hits an elbow drop to Ivy hanging off the apron. Bailey then hits a belly to Bailey suplex for the 1, 2, 3, and Ivy now has been eliminated. She did put up a pretty good match against Bailey. I was pretty impressed with that. So now we're down to Bailey against Asuka, with the winner going on to San Antonio, Texas next Monday night to challenge AJ Lee for the Intercontinental Championship. And I don't know where they're going with this unless they have Becky show up. That's what I really think is going to happen. I think it's still Becky AJ. We'll see. I just can't possibly see them taking the title off AJ Lee. Like, she just won the damn title. Like, Elimination Chamber. This is their first title defense. So, yeah, something's got to happen. Becky's going to show up. Asuka makes her way down to the ring. Bailey hits a suicide dive forearm, and she sends Asuka into the ring. Kyrie distracts Bailey, and Asuka nails Bailey. Asuka then hits a snapmare and a kick to the back. Asuka delivers another kick to the back and chucks Bailey in the ropes. And then Kyrie delivers some punches while Asuka distracts the referee. Kyrie getting involved. Asuka then hits a kick to the back. Bailey delivers a forearm. Asuka then hits some Kawada kicks and gets a near fall. Asuka then goes for a couple more pinfalls, but Bailey kicks out. Bailey blocks a cross arm breaker attempt. Bailey gets a roll up for her 2 count. Bailey sends Asuka into the corner, hits some shoulders. Bailey then hits some forearms. Bailey then puts Asuka in the ropes. Bailey hits a springboard knee drop to the midsection. Bailey hits a sunset foot powerbomb into the turnbuckles for a count of 2. Asuka then avoids the rose plant, and Asuka goes for the abdominal stretch into an ankle lock. Bailey then rolls to the ropes, but Asuka holds on. Bailey then tries to roll through, but Asuka drops down and gets a count of 2. Bailey then blocks a kick and applies a knee bar. Asuka then gets to the ropes, and Asuka gets the ropes and goes to the floor. Bailey follows her out to the floor. It's a drop kick to the center of the corner of the ring. Bailey then sends Asuka back into the ring. Asuka hits a back heel kick and a pop-up knee. Asuka then hits a clothesline, but Bayley hits a clothesline and a running knee for just a 2 count. Asuka then hits a forearm and a back fist. Asuka then hits a spinning back heel kick for another near fall. Bayley then avoids a running boot. She gets a near fall with the roll up. Then Bayley hits the Bayley to Bayley suplex for a 2 count. Bayley then goes to the turnbuckles for the elbow drop, but Asuka gets up and she knocks Bayley off the turnbuckles with the forearm. Asuka then distracts the referee, and out comes Lyra Valkyria. Lyra Valkyria drop kicks Kairi Sane to stop her from attacking Bayley. Bayley then hits a cutter in the ropes while Asuka yells at Lyra. Asuka then catches Bayley off the turnbuckles and she applies the Asuka lock. Bayley escaped the Asuka lock and almost gets a pinfall, but then Bayley hits the Rose Plant for the 1, 2, 3, and the winner of the Women's Gauntlet match. And moving on next Monday on Raw to face AJ Lee for the Intercontinental Championship is Bayley. Like I said, next week, Bayley versus AJ Lee. Brock Lesnar will return. Roman Reigns, and we're going to have the original El Grande Americana against El Grande Americana. That is what's advertised for next week. So looking forward to seeing Becky and AJ. After the match, Lyra celebrates with Bayley and it's announced that Bayley will face AJ Lee next week on Raw. We then take a look back at the main event of last week's Raw. So Penta winning the Intercontinental Championship. WWE Intercontinental Champion Penta is then shown walking backstage, and Michael Cole says his first title defense is up next. So then I got a commercial for most of you guys, not for me. Byron Saxon then brings out Natty. Byron asks Natty about her new personality and her recent situations with Maxine Dupree. Byron then asks what is next for her. Natty tells Maxine she hopes she had a comfortable hospital stay. Natty then says she hopes they could diagnose why she is so feeble. Natty then says she attacked Maxine because Maxine does not belong in her business. Natty then says she made the same mistake Maxine did and listened to the fans. Natty then says she shook her ass instead of having people kiss it. Natty then says she got lost as Natalia. Natty then says she should have been in the gauntlet. Natty then tells Maxine the truth hurts and hearts don't lie. Maxine comes running out and attacks Natty from behind. She punches Natty and kicks her. Maxine then hits some more punches until officials separate them. Natty then hits a forearm while they hold Maxine. So like I said, WWE is hell bent with this Maxine Natty shit. Thank God they're praying, fingers crossed they're not applied, they're not added. I don't think they're going to be involved in this Intercontinental Championship scene at all. And somebody brought it up to me. It wasn't my report or anything. And I don't know. I'm going to have to ask before Scoop Sunday if they're going to have a match at Mania. It's looking like they're going to do something with them, which I can't believe they got something planned for them, but not EO or LA Knight or people like that. One thing I could see them doing is like a I Quit match or a blood sport or something. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do with them. Hopefully it'll be the end of it though. We then see Danhausen stop to talk to the original El Grande Americana. And like I said, I know it was reported earlier that Danhausen and Miz might win the tag title. I don't think we're going to see Danhausen in the ring for a while though. What he's doing backstage and selling merch right now is top notch. So he's talking to the original El Grande Americano, which is Chad Gable. Danhausen says he wants to try on Original's mask. Original then tells him, you don't touch a luchador's mask. He then says he doesn't have tempo, and he tells Danhausen to Bomanos, which means get out of here. Danhausen then says if Original doesn't want to join forces, then he is cursed. So the original El Grande Americano has been cursed by Danhausen. So Penta makes his way down to the ring for the next match that night. He says he wants to say thank you Penta then thanks his family and friends and companions. Penta then thanks his fans all around the world. Penta then thanks everyone who believed in him and said that helped him achieve this Intercontinental Championship. Penta then says the title is not just for him, it is for all who never gave up on him. Penta then says he represents the dreamers and the fighters in real life. Penta then says this title is the result of a lot of hard work, sacrifice, and believing in yourself every day. Penta then says they will make history. We then see El Grande Americano, not the original, the other one, make his way down to the ring. So that curse, whatever, the Los Americanos ended up attacking the original El Grande Americano in the back. So he makes his way down to the ring. He's going to get the title match against Penta. This was a good match. Penta's super over. I'm not going to go over every single thing. Let's get to the end because we're almost an hour into the stream and I still have a lot to cover. It's a good first title defense for Penta though, but what is he doing at WrestleMania? I don't know. I have no idea. So Penta goes up to the turnbuckles and Grande Americano catches Penta and hits a rolling death belly driver for a near fall. Penta then chops Grande and Grande hits a kick and a knee lift. Penta then catches Grande off the turnbuckle and hits a code breaker. Penta then hits the springboard, the Penta driver for the 1, 2, 3. And Penta retains the Intercontinental Championship. Sierra Miedo. So then we get a promo from the WWE Raw Women's Champion, Stephanie Blackcourt. She says she heard what Liv Morgan said last week. Stephanie then says she can see the privilege that she had. Stephanie then says she can see how Liv learned from the best. Stephanie then says what pisses her off is that you have all the tools to be great, but you are too ignorant to use them. Stephanie then says you hide behind your friends. Stephanie then says that you are proud of that. Stephanie then says when you were forged by the people around you, but she was forged by hell. Stephanie then says they took different roads, but they have the skill to stay on top. Stephanie then says you have become lazy. Stephanie then says she can see more in Liv than Liv sees in herself. Stephanie then says she sees a worthy, fierce opponent, but you see yourself as a cheap blonde who would take the easy way out to win. Stephanie then says you better bring all of your training into the ring because she will be the blood, sweat, and experience to continue to make history as the Raw Women's Champion. Liv Morgan then says at least she had. Then we go backstage after the promo, and Liv and Raquel and JD and Ben and Dominic are there. Liv starts about talking. She says, "Can you believe her? Like we're gonna take care of her." She tells Raquel she'll get another title opportunity. Liv says they will give. Liv Morgan says at least she has friends. Liv then says they will get Raquel back in the title picture. Like I said at the beginning of the broadcast, this isn't the ending. I know they turned on Ben tonight, and we're gonna get that demon. I feel like, but the Liv Raquel stuff and Liv Roxanne stuff is far from over. Liv then says they will get Raquel back in the title picture. Dominic walks up and he says he wants to know if anybody has seen Finn Balor. JD then says he will go find him. Dominic says he has to go to the ring and get something off his chest. Liv asks if they need to go with him. Dominic said that would be nice. So Danhausen makes his way down to the ring and says hello to the people of Seattle. He introduces himself. Danhausen then says he wanted to come out to thank the Fanhausen. Danhausen then asks for the t-shirt boy, and he throws some shirts into the crowd. I didn't see that part. Dominic Mysterio then makes his way down to the ring with Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez and JD McChicken Nugget or JD McDonough. Shout out to 141 people we have watching live. Dominic says he demands a rematch. Dominic then says he should be your champion, but Penta is walking around with his title. Dominic then says, we all know whose fault it is. Dominic then calls out Finn Balor. Dominic then says he didn't want to do this out here. He wanted to do it privately. Dominic then says, you are making him air out their laundry in front of everyone. Finn Balor makes his way down to the ring, and he's joined. Oh, so JD didn't come out with Finn. He come out with Dom. He came out with Finn. So Finn Balor makes his way down to the ring and joined by JD McDonough, JD McCrispy, JD McNugget. Dominic then says he wants to know where the hell Finn has been. Dominic then says they have all been looking for him. Dominic then says he hopes Finn is here to tell him he went to Pierce and finally talked to Adam Pierce about getting Dominic his rematch. Finn then asked Dominic if he is done and got it all out of his system. Finn then says Dominic is right about last week. Finn then says if it wasn't for him, Dominic would still be champion. Finn then says he is sorry. For a second, he had us all fooled. Finn then says he was trying to help and teach Dominic a lesson. Finn then says they are a family and they will always have his back. Finn then said you told him you wanted to be the greatest Mysterio of all time. Finn then says you can be, but to be the greatest at anything, you need to learn that sometimes you have to fight your own battles. Finn then says he has been trying to help and guide Dominic for 2 years. Finn then says the more he helps and tries to lead him in the right direction, and maybe your dad was right. Finn then says maybe you are nothing but more than a spoiled little bitch. Oh. Dominic then slaps Finn Balor. Finn then delivers a Pele kick to Dominic. Finn then grabs Dominic and he pulls Finn, pulls Finn off to JD. Dominic then charges at Finn. Finn hits a sling blade. Finn then sets up for the run drop kick, but JD comes out of nowhere and clotheslines the shit out of Finn Balor. Liv and Raquel then join in the fray and begin to punch and kick on Finn Balor. JD and Dominic then join in. JD delivers some forearms to Finn. Dominic then gets a chair and a hammer. JD then holds Finn, and Finn kicks Dominic and JD. Dominic then hits Finn with the hammer. Dominic then puts the hammer in his shoe, and JD puts Finn in the rope for a 619. Then Dominic Mysterio ends up hitting the 619 with the hammer in his shoe. And Dominic goes up top for a frog splash. JD then drives the top of the chair into Finn's midsection. He then puts a chair on top of Finn, and Dominic hits another frog splash onto the chair on top of Finn Balor. So Finn Balor is now out of the Judgment Day. Oh shit, I didn't even see the comments. Sorry, guys. Full house, my job is done. Good night. Shout out to the Unseen Blinghausen DW podcast, one half of Talk It Up Wrestling podcast and DW Radio. Make sure you give them a follow, Talk It Up podcast on X, and also a subscription on YouTube. And to give the Unseen Blinghausen, I still haven't changed my name, even though I said I would. Cody won. I think I can kind of work my way out of that. But thank you for all the retweets and stuff. I appreciate it. Good night. Hope you sleep well. What's going on? Bentu? You were shocked about what? About Ben? Nah, I know it's coming. It's just taking a long time. Yeah, I don't like what they're doing with that. I definitely didn't like what they're doing with Ia. I don't know what their plan is for Ia. I don't. At this point, I have no idea. I heard people saying, "Oh, she's gonna get inserted into the match with Rhea and Jade." She is definitely not. They're definitely not doing that. People just come up with this most random shit. Like, I mean, it's crazy. Anyway, shout out to Bentu and the Unseen Blinghausen, one half of Talk It Up Wrestling podcast. Also, Shout out to the CEO and the head of the table of DWE Miami the Great. Like I said, tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern, make sure you tune in to Inside the Mind with Miami at 6 p.m. And I will be on at 10:30 p.m. Eastern for the NXT recap. I'll definitely be tuning in Inside the Mind because it's a crazy day. NFL today with all the free agents signing. So, JD drives the top of the chair into Finn's midsection, and he puts the chair on top of Finn, and Dominic hits another frog splash on the top of Finn. And Finn Balor has now been kicked out of Judgment Day, and that sets up perfectly what I've been saying for a month now. Finn Balor versus Dominic Mysterio at WrestleMania, and I do believe we're going to get that demon. So Dominic's going to be in big shot. I wouldn't be surprised if Finn doesn't cost Dominic that AAA World Championship coming up this Saturday too. So pay attention to that. We then take a look at the undisputed WWE Championship match from SmackDown. Just always slips back to that for some reason. I don't know why. I'm not gonna get, hopefully I'm not gonna get copyright. I can't play that Cody video anymore. I got a damn copyright strike. They didn't strike me, but I got a copyright because I played that video. 30 points to the WrestleMania song. Shout out to Cody Rhodes for the follow. I actually do like you. There's posers on here that fucking making videos and going to meet and greets and all that. But they don't give a shit about you. I do. It took me a year. I busted my ass to get that follow. So shout out to Cody Rhodes for giving me that follow. Charlotte Flair, I'm not going to stop until I get that follow. So you're next. Need you to give me that follow back, Charlotte. I've been trying way longer with Charlotte than I have with Cody. So hopefully it comes soon. So we take a look back at the match where Cody beat Drew Friday. We head to the back where Adam Pearce and Devon Evans are in the back. Adam says he has some good things in place for Evans. Kofi Kingston then approaches Devon and says he sees himself in Kofi. Kofi then says he believes in Evans, but Evans needs to have a team around him and encourages him to think about joining himself with Xavier Woods and Grayson Waller. I mean, I'm not opposed to it. I mean, I know everybody loves, Javon. I do too, the young OG, but I mean, what are they going to do with him? I mean, that would be a big boost for New Day. In the background, we can see Asuka celebrating with Kairi Sane. Asuka berating Kairi Sane after the Women's Intercontinental Championship gauntlet match. So yeah, maybe they are setting up for Asuka and Kairi. I don't know what they're doing either. We then see Jackie Redmond in the back with Bayley and Lyra Valkyria. Jackie congratulates Bayley on her win in the title match next week. Bayley then thanks Lyra for helping her in the match. Lyra then says Bayley should be the next Intercontinental Champion. Bayley then says AJ is an inspiration for most women. She then says she has never won the Intercontinental Championship and she looks forward to winning it. That right there kind of, is that what they're going to do? Better than suggests that she and Lyra can run it back after she wins. Another fucking, I don't know. God, I hope they don't do that. I love Bayley, but, I mean, what do they take the time? I mean, AJ's going to win the title for 2 weeks. What the fuck? We'll see next Monday. Bayley challenges AJ Lee for the Intercontinental Championship. So Obafemi then makes his way down to the ring for the next match of the night, followed by Rusev. Another fucking terrible. And everybody's like, oh, this is the WrestleMania match, GVP. No, it's not. It's not a WrestleMania match. It's a fucking squash match. Match was all both men going for clothesline. They throw punches. Rusev hits a knee, it's a punch, but Oba stays on his feet. Oba don't sell very well, or he's not right now. Oba then hits an Irish whip and a run uppercut. Rusev then hits a splash to Oba in the corner, but Oba hits a boot. Oba then clotheslines Rusev over the top rope. Oba lands on his feet on the floor. Rusev then hits a double thrust to the throat, and Oba Irish whips Rusev into the ring steps. Oba then sends Rusev back into the ring. Rusev then hits a kick to Oba off the apron, but Oba lands on his feet. Rusev delivers some punches. Rusev sends Oben to the ring post and hits a spinning heel kick against the announce desk. They then return to the ring and Rusev delivers some more kicks. Oba then grabs Rusev by the throat and he goes for a choke slam, but Rusev escapes and he hits a thrust kick. Oba then hits a corkscrew back elbow and a toss power bomb, and then Oba Femi hits his finishing move, the power bomb, for the 1, 2, 3 total domination in 3 minutes or less. Oba Femi defeats Rusev. It is announced that next week AJ Lee will defend her Intercontinental Championship title against Bayley. Also, Brock Lesnar will be on Raw. And then we will see the original El Grande Americano Classico, which was cursed this week, faces El Grande Americano, and the O2C1 Roman Reigns will be on the show. So we get to the last part of Monday Night Raw, guys. So we're running pretty good time. My stream is about an hour 25, hour 30 on Monday. Shout out to 163 people watching live on either YouTube, X, or my X or Miami's X. So CM Punk's music then hits. He makes his way down to the ring. Punk grabs the mic and starts off by saying, "It is great to be alive on a Monday night in Seattle, or what?" Punk then brings up the Seattle Seahawks, the Super Bowl champions. Punk then says he thought some of the fans would be mad at him. Punk then says some people were not happy with what he said last week. Punk then says some called it disrespectful. Punk then says Roman has never respected him his entire career. CM Punk then tells the fans to hold their breath because he might show up. Punk then says he will force Roman to respect the position he holds. Punk then says titles in this business are made to find out who are the best. And by the way, during the segment, CM Punk did reference the learning tree with another Chris Jericho reference. Punk then says titles in sports are to find out who's best. Punk then said they defend their titles and championships. Punk then says this title was created because Roman Reigns shunned his championship opportunities and refused to defend his title. Punk then says he defends the title because he is a fighting champion. Punk then says he leveled up the competition. Punk then says you have to level up physically and verbally or you will be left dumbfounded and slack-jawed like he did to Roman Reigns last week. Punk then says he lowered himself. He did say that one thing he started to act like he was going to apologize. He did say he lowered himself to Roman's level last week. And then out comes the Usos, and they are not happy. Jimmy and Jay. They interrupt Punk before he can continue. They make their way down to the ring, and they're not eating. Jay then paces in the ring, and he says, "Punk, you need to apologize and apologize right now." Jay tells him, "Apologize right now." Punk then asks why is Roman still sending his cousins out to do his heavy lifting. Jay then says they came out on their own, and he wants CM Punk to apologize. This has nothing to do with Roman. He needs to apologize. Jimmy then gets the mic. This was one of Jimmy Uso's best promos. Jimmy cooked. Jimmy then says this has nothing to do with Roman Reigns, but this has to do with respect. He then tells CM Punk he has a lot of respect for him. He then says he has so much respect for him because he says what is on his mind. He then says he goes to any obstacle and he respects CM Punk for that. He then says you call yourself the voice of the voiceless. He then says you can speak all the trash you want about Roman, but you disrespected their late uncle who has no voice. Jimmy then tells Punk to apologize and apologize now. Punk then says Jimmy is right. Punk then says Sika doesn't have a voice. Punk then says he is not spiritual. Punk then says they are friends. He then asks if they think Sika can hear him. He then goes on to talk about the whole backstory. He then says they are friends, and he goes back a long way with the Samoan family. Punk then says he knew Sika, but not as well as Appa. Punk then says he used to travel down to Allentown, Pennsylvania, and he didn't work for free, but he was paid in knowledge under the wild Samoan tree. I don't know if that's a Chris Jericho reference. I might be talking about the the Samoan family tree, which ultimately is going to end up the Rock. Punk then says he babysat Lance in Hawaii. Punk then says he got to sit in the truck with Samu, and he dropped knowledge on him. Punk then says he respects everyone in his family, and his family has shown respect, except for that one son of a bitch. He then says if you think Sika heard that, then he can see. He then says he sees what he sees, and that is what a lying, conniving, backstabbing, manipulative, narcissistic person the son Roman Reigns is. Jay then says it isn't about Roman Reigns. He then says Punk has to say I'm sorry. Punk then shakes hands with Jimmy, and then he says he is sorry. And then he shakes hands with Jay as well. They then thank Punk. Punk then says, hold up. Punk says he is sorry that Roman treated you and the rest of your family like garbage for years and never apologized for the way he treated you. Punk then says he never apologized for what Roman said about Cody Rhodes' late, Cody Rhodes' father that passed away as well, the late and great Dusty Rhodes. So another Cody Dusty reference. Punk then said, why isn't Roman on the hook for that? He said, I'm supposed to apologize for talking about Roman's dad, but Roman doesn't have to apologize for talking about Dusty. Punk then says he is sorry that Roman has made everything and everyone out here think that he gives a damn. Punk then says if he cared about anything, he would be standing in the ring talking to Roman right now instead of his little young boys. Jay then pushes Punk, and Jimmy delivered a shot to CM Punk's face, and CM Punk is knocked him on his ass. CM Punk is staring them down, and the Usos they leave the ring, and CM Punk is making his way back up to his feet. And that is how Raw ends, guys. So like I said, it was a pretty good Raw. For me, it was kind of a little bit all over the place. I think that, it was a good show. I don't know what they're doing with a lot of the characters like Io and LA Knight. And they're really teasing Intercontinental title change next week, which I pray to God they're not going to do that. What was the whole point of AJ winning? It's just so she could win in Chicago and come back and not even have a WrestleMania moment? Like, that's just fucking crazy. I think we'll see Becky Lynch next week. I think she interrupts, so I still think we'll probably get Becky AJ. We'll see, though. But shout out to the 182 people watching live on St. Blankhausen of DWE Podcast, and also one half of Talk It Up Wrestling Podcast. Make sure you give them a follow on X. Make sure you give Miami a follow on X. Make sure you give Talk It Up Wrestling Podcast a subscription on YouTube. Shout out to the World of Greg and Director Reg as well. Shout out to Bentu. Good to see you as always. Love the profile picture. Rhea's looking chic in that picture. I love it. So yeah, like I said, I'm not really with the whole Natty vaccine thing. Maybe they do a blood sport type thing. I don't know which way they're going, what they're going to do with Io. I think they're still waiting on this whole Braun Breaker thing with Seth. I think Seth Brock is probably some sort of backup plan. Next week's going to be interesting. Roman's going to be back. Brock Lesnar's going to be back. We got AJ Lee returning to defend the Intercontinental Championship belt, which was out at ringside during the Gauntlet match, which was fucking weird. It wasn't with her. I'm sure Punk will be there next week. I'm sure Seth will be there. We're gonna have the original El Grande Americano against original Grande Americano next week. And then the Intercontinental Championship match. Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns also return next week. So yeah, it was a pretty good show. I give it about a C plus, maybe a B. The Judgment Day shit was good. I think it's gonna be a great build to Dominant Finn. And obviously the Punk Uso stuff is the story just get deeper and deeper. Obviously we're gonna see the Bloodline reunite at WrestleMania, and then The Rock's gonna come out there. We gotta set up that Rock Roman for 43. But yeah, I appreciate you guys tuning in. Shout out to 219 people that we have watching live tonight for your WWE Raw recap. We're 39 days, maybe 40 from WrestleMania. So make sure you go back to the beginning of the stream for the announcements and stuff. Wednesday, like I said, I will be making posts for Stand and Deliver prediction show. There will be one for that. There will be a recap show for Stand and Deliver 2 weeks before WrestleMania. I will not be doing a separate prediction show for WrestleMania. It will be one night. So if you guys sign up for it, be prepared for a 2.5 hour stream on WrestleMania prediction show. But I will make 2 separate posts so that I can keep up with everybody that's going to be on each show. But I will do a night 1 and a night 2 recap for WrestleMania on Saturday night and on Sunday night as well. And that weekend, I will not be doing Sunday scoops the Sunday of WrestleMania. And also starting April 26th, Sunday Scoops is not going anywhere, but that is the premiere of season 3 of LSG. And so I will be streaming live after the first episode on April the 26th. And that will be at 11:30 p.m. Eastern. And also thank you guys so much for helping me get over the 200 subscriber mark. Now our goal is to get to 500. But I'm going to give it Miami before WrestleMania, maybe a little after. I'm going to try to do something small for you guys for appreciation. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm going to go to the outro, and I'll be back to tell you where you can find me on my socials and what I have coming up for the rest of the week for you guys. And what it's not a 7-day week. Looking forward to a couple of days off. See you guys in a second.
Wrestling has more than one royal family.
There are a lot of podcasts out there, but only one with this kind of energy.
Welcome to EVP Show Recap Prediction Sports. Let go, show recap prediction sports
In one podcast.
Welcome to EVP Show Recap Prediction Sports. Let go.
All right. Appreciate you guys again. I just wanted to shout out to the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, for giving me that follow back. I actually do like him. Unlike some people that made all this shit, making fun of him, going to meet him and all that. I wish I could get an opportunity to meet him because I'm actually a fan. But yeah, thank you guys so much for coming in tonight. 221 people watching. As far as my socials, scrolling across the bottom of the screen in the blue. If you are not following me on X, please give me a follow on X at EVPCJP. My YouTube channel is pinned to the top. So if you know any wrestling fans or your friends are wrestling fans or not subscribed, it's pinned at the top of my channel. Just click on my channel or go to my Twitter, my X account. You'll see my YouTube channel at the top. Click on that YouTube link. Make sure to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can also find me on Instagram at EVPCJP, TikTok at BradyTheGoat21. And last but not least, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you're not already subscribed, you just go to the search bar and you type in at the EVP Show. And anybody that goes back and watches the stream live, make sure you guys spam the likes on the YouTube stream. The likes and the comments that come from YouTube, it helps put the stream and the channel, the algorithm, and it helps the channel grow. And That's the most important thing about YouTube is the likes and the comments that come from the YouTube section. I love the views. I appreciate the views so much. But, as far as channel-wise, channel growth, those likes and comments from the YouTube section is what makes the channel and gets you closer to that ultimate goal, which is monetization. So make sure you guys give me a like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. And so that every time I go live, you guys are reminded to tell all your friends, anybody you know that's wrestling fan, make sure you subscribe to the EVP show because I put out at least 5 days a week of content and sometimes six streams a week. And sometimes I stream 7 days a week. So thank you guys. Make sure you like and subscribe to my YouTube channel at the EVP show. What I have coming up for the rest of the week, tomorrow, Tuesday, make sure you tune in to the CEO, the head of the table, Miami the Great, at 6 p.m. Eastern for Inside the Mind. There was a lot of action going on in the NFL today. That's going to be a big show. Make sure you tune in to that tomorrow. I will be tuned in for sure. And then I will see you guys back here live on the EVP show at 10:30 p.m. Eastern tomorrow for the NXT recap. Wednesday, I am off, but I will be making the post for the Stand and Deliver predictions and for the WrestleMania predictions to see who is going to be coming on. Then I'm back after a well-rested day off Wednesday, Thursday night. I'm back at 11:30 p.m. Eastern for your TNA recap show, episode number 4. And then Friday night is the contract sign-up between the SmackDown Undisputed Champion, Cody Rhodes, and the Viper Randy Orton on SmackDown. Join me at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Time Friday night for your SmackDown recap. And then Saturday I'm off as well. And then come join me back Sunday again at 6 p.m. Eastern for episode number 11 of Sunday Night Scoops, as we're going to be less than 35 days, around 35 days from WrestleMania. So questions are only going to give. The shows are doing well. That show's doing really well. The views are down a little bit from yesterday, but a lot of comments, a lot of likes. I seem to get the most likes and comments on that show. So thank you guys every week. That show is for you guys. It's a chance for you guys to ask questions. A lot of stuff I've been saying has been coming true. Look for some more news to come out. I haven't ran it past Miami yet. Part of it's going to be part of like a business thing or whatever, so I'm not going to really talk about it on stream, but I got a couple of business pitches for Miami when it comes to Scoop. I'm not going to be getting rid of Scoop, but I want to add something to it for DWE and for me, Miami, DWE, and everybody else. Obviously, it would be me doing this stuff, but I'm not gonna reveal the surprise yet. I'm gonna run it by them first before I gotta get that okay first. But yeah, so that's it for me, guys, for the Raw recap. Make sure you tune in to Inside the Mind with Miami tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern, and then join me back tomorrow live at 10:30 p.m. Eastern for the NXT recap. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Hope you guys enjoy Raw, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Better be there at 6 p.m. for Inside the Mile Miami. And I will hope to see you guys at 10:30 p.m. Eastern for the NXT recap. I am the EVP of the EVP show and the Golden. Cody, you follow me? I'm still a Golden Boy of DWE. And DWE is the place to be. Good night, everybody.